WHO says 1 in 10 people are infected by COVID-19. The head of emergencies at the World Health Organization said the agency's best estimates indicates roughly 1 in 10 people worldwide may have been infected by the coronavirus, more than 20 times the number of confirmed cases, and warned of a difficult period ahead. The death rate figures may vary from urban to rural and between different groups. However, the vast majority of the world remains at risk. H-1B new rules. Challenges for the IT sector, tenure reduced to 1 year. H-1B visas are often used by Indian and Chinese companies and are generally approved for 3 years. Previous visa norms are criticized for allowing cheap labor in the U.S. at the expense of its local workforce. As per the Department of Homeland Security, whose main job is to secure the U.S. from the threats it faces, the H-1B work visa government had over the years gone far beyond the mandate for which it was launched, often to the detriment of U.S. workers. Therefore, to bring back the integrity to the work visa regime, the DHS has announced some changes which would ensure that H-1B petitions are approved only for qualified beneficiaries and petitioners. How will new H-1B visa regime impact Indian companies? The recent changes to H-1B non-immigrant visa regime would restrict access to talent, endangering jobs, and slow down research and development moves, which it said were detrimental to the U.S. economy.
India marched its way to become the third country after the United States and Brazil to record more than 100,000 coronavirus-related deaths. The world's second most populous nation has confirmed more than 6.4 million COVID-19 cases and probably is on pace to surpass the United States as the country with the most infections in the next few weeks. India does, however, have the highest number of recovered patients in the world, a positive sign. Experts say India's actual case and fatality numbers are likely higher. Numbers have fallen since a mid-September peak, but they remain high. Still, officials are easing restrictions in an attempt to lessen the economic blow that has hit the country during the pandemic. Over the past week, India reported almost twice as many new cases as the United States did. And experts suspect that many COVID-19 fatalities in India have gone unreported. The big concern now is the rise in deaths in rural areas. Data show that while urban districts still account for 3/4 of India's total deaths, the share of rural and semi-urban communities has been rising. Rural areas now account for 12% of India's deaths, while semi-urban districts account for 14%.
Unlock 5.0, a go-ahead for cinema malls, multiplexes, entertainment parks and exhibition halls with 50% seating capacity. The new guidelines for Unlock 5.0 come into force from October 15th. Reopening of schools and colleges is also allowed, but in a graded manner. The final calls have been left to the states and the institutions involved. Online and distant learning is now the most preferred way of teaching. Gatherings of 200 people are allowed in closed spaces, but with 50% of capacity.
The 2020 U.S. presidential election is gearing up to be the most expensive ever, with total spending approaching a record-smashing $11 billion, according to an early estimate from the experts. Despite the pandemic situation, this election is 50% more expensive than the 2016 race. Perhaps the funding mostly goes toward media, think TV ads and online ads, consultants, and the salaries of campaign staffers. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, the presidential candidates have changed the way they spend money. While they're spending less on travel and events compared to the 2016 election, they're spending more on media, like online ads. Experts say, despite being interrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, the 2020 election is seeing record levels of small-dollar giving amid extraordinary enthusiasm from supporters and opponents of President Donald Trump. The influence of women donors also continued to grow in 2020, with women contributing nearly $1.7 billion and making up 43% of all donors this cycle. Interestingly, $11 billion is the amount of money the U.S. announced it would deliver in new funding for COVID-19 testing back in May. As football sport cannot be played online, hundreds of footballers have flown thousands of miles around the world to play international fixtures. As the World Cup qualifying process begins this week, footballers face long cross-continental trips back to South America, perhaps spending most of the time on travel. Polish teenager Iga Swiatek beats Sofia Kenin to win maiden French Open. The world number 48 made history by becoming the first Polish woman to win the French Open title. IPL games are played with close to zero fans, and it sounds like as if the stadium is full. No fans cheering for their favorite players from the stands in the stadium. Instead, fake crowds, fake cheers, used by TV networks. That's something people found difficult to ingest, and hence, memes and jokes followed on the internet. For cricket fans, it is an entirely different experience altogether. A rescue mission in Wales, United Kingdom was remarkable as it took 4 days and almost a whole town to save a cat stuck on a 40-foot tree. Thought to be missing, the female cat named Cookie was spotted on a tree in Tredegar, Blaenau Gwent. Residents in Tredegar, in the southeast of the country, rallied round with fishing nets, treats, cherry pickers, and even a 4-story scaffold platform to try and get the animal down. A tree surgeon eventually rescued it. The tremendous amount of attention resulted in a local scaffolding firm building a 4-story structure around the tree yesterday to try and coax the cat back down to the ground. It showed a lovely community spirit, thanking everyone involved in the feline rescue operation. The Dandelions is happy to welcome Srinidhi to our family. Listen to her shloka recitation.
Stay connected with the universe through TD Heptas. If you like our contents, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel.